you probably thought you weren't going to get that much of your money's worth. But now you get to watch your team either potentially bomb out here or stop the reverse sweep. And stopping reverse sweeps in Game 5 is always so tricky because your back is against the wall in terms of your mental. We are now fearlessly banned from 40 champions here. Across these roles, we have all the enchanters gone basically, and it is just going to be a bloodbath here. Going for first pick again is T1 rather than counter pick. This deep and fearless is a bold choice that did not pay off.
Yeah, it didn't work in the last game. I don't know why it would work now, especially with the fact that we are into the weeds, right? We are going to see the Bard and Nocturne both be banned away here, but we are down to Zoes and things like this. Obviously, Vi has been a mainstay as well. But this is interesting.
Now, the big picks again that we discussed last game are still out there. The Kalista is a huge one. The Aurora, which is also flexible, massive here. This is the Yorick ban.
Someone wants to play Kennen.
I think so. At least keeping the opportunity open here. And so what's this final ban going to be? Do you just ban the Kalista? Didn't do last time.
Aurora was what they banned in the last game. But they might, you know, Ziggs was banned in the last game as well.
And the Aurora again.
All right, so that one is going to go. But now what is the first pick? What did T1 want to get?
Yeah, this is the question that I don't want to even speculate about. I want to see what T1 thinks is the call here. First pick Kennen would be absurd, and they will do it.
Oh my god!
They will do it.
They're like, the Kennen counters are gone! And we will pick them up. Let's see what she wants to do, though, because we can see he's not exactly too unhappy about the whole scenario.
Well, he has been known to play a lot of ranged tops, but the Aurora is gone, the Ryze is gone, the Gnar is gone, the Yorick is gone. So,
yeah, not exactly a bevy of options.
Just going to look for a side laning Gwen here. An interesting choice.
Yeah, it can be a tough matchup into the Kennen, of course, because you don't have your mist every single time. But let's see what Lucid wants to do. Xin Zhao is obviously not there, so double circle's not going to be available.
Sejuani could be pretty high up in the stocks here if you can draft around it with the Gwen in the top lane. But it's difficult to lock down a Kennen there. Instead, we're just going to see the Aatrox. And this is without Seraphine as well, which has been another. It's the Aatrox and the Mundo that have really found the most success with that Seraphine. They pivot, though, to bottom side control and put the real push onto career. But this is what you can do at blue side, where you can see one on the other and you go all in on Kalista Renata.
Yeah, understandable. And there's not a whole lot of good options here into it. Oh, Smash. Just show us your Draven. Just show us your Draven.
They could also just try to play the Corki. I mean, the Corki is still available.
Honestly, Corki Nico pretty good.
Pretty good if you can hit the roots, if you can play through your support, if you trust career.
Nah, give me the Draven. Give me the Draven.
If you trust career, you know.
It's MF instead. I mean, it kind of does a similar thing and does have a lot of strong lane presence in the earlier stages. I want to see them build around this Wombo combo, though. We'll see what T1 are going to be banning away to allow for that.
It's so hard to build around it now, though. If Rel jungle was still a thing, you'd be like, all right, I could see the angle there.
Hell yeah.
But they only have Pop Blossom to set it up so far, and I don't know what mids they could pull in here for Showmaker to make that happen, as we'll see a Victor ban, looking for any sort of scaling damage here for Faker.
Yep, I think Victor, a good choice. Probably would have been nice for D+ as well, but not going to opt to go that way. As T1, see where their focus is going to be. They could also ban away mid laners and allow the fact that Faker has played more champions competitively than any other player on the planet.
Is a good ban here.
Yep.
I do think that that's one of the other setups you could have for the MF, and one that Faker is just not that interested in playing, frankly, in a draft like this. Now, do you ban like an Aurelion Soul? Like, what sort of other scaling damage are you really worried about here? I think the Victor was the biggest problem that they had to solve for. And if there's a jungle pick that they know owner's been playing, that they've run into, they could ban that as well. The Trundle is going to be what they opt for, which doesn't tell us a whole lot just yet.
I do really like the Trundle, though, just because it's great into MF. So you can remove that, not have to worry about the whole pillar interrupting your good time with the bullet time.
If we play a war of attrition in terms of scaling with the side lane power this Gwen has, I think there is a real world as they ban away the Sakali here. For a Smolder to actually shine through on either mid lane to get to the late game, but with this Gwen, it could be a potential pickup here.
Is it just Sejuani threaten Yasuo? I always just want it to be Yasuo, to be honest.
Maokai, pretty good into cannon. And
you also then allow yourself to play double AD carry if you want to. Maokai Tristana has been very strong in the past.
I don't want to get too hung up on the Smolder, but I think it actually can work here.
Another decent option.
If you trust that you can survive and play through that Gwen side lane, the Anivia is the scaling damage that's here. That's not the Victor for Faker, and a lot of zone power here. And it works incredibly well if you can control bottom side with that Kalista Renata lane.
The problem is it's pretty short range.
Yeah.
And you're kind of at the mercy. Obviously, this has to be a blind pick here for Faker. So is the Anivia the choice? And if so, what is the punishment going to be out of Showmaker here? As it is going to be locked in. And now, what is Owner going to be playing in the jungle? It needs to be a fair bit of physical damage, I could imagine. You don't really want just solo Kalista. Wow.
Talon, those are something choices I thought about, but doesn't really have CC. You're so reliant on the Kennen and the Anivia setup here. And you're also playing into Maokai. Aatrox makes a lot more sense to me.
Yeah.
Although it's still going to struggle into the Maokai, like any melee or low-range champions, like the Kalista, like the Kennen that's trying to flank, will struggle with. The Tristana was the one that everyone had on their minds, I think, here. And this composition can get crazy explosive really fast. There is a lot of side lane power in both the Gwen and the Tristana here for D+.
And the thing is, I love Tristana for so many reasons in this draft. Because you've got a Kennen that you're worried about. And so what does Buster Shot do? It just solves the Kennen problem in one fell swoop. And so it's going to be so hard for Doran to find the value unless they get that ulti on cooldown.
It also has a pretty fun matchup into the Anivia. You can avoid the wall entirely with your rocket jump. You can, if you have any sort of CC set up here by this Maokai, run away with scrappy fights and skirmishes. And if you end up, for example, if the Aatrox gets caught by the Maokai and then the Tristana gets a kill, you can really go toe-to-toe damage output-wise with the Kalista, even in the mid-game. And the side lane threat here for D+ is double that of T1's. And that is something that has been a problem for T1 in this series. In terms of macro, D+ have gotten the better of them. The wins that T1 got were through big glow-ups from FaZe, the big leads that he got, the massive Yunara, the Zeri. That's not necessarily been through the map. That is where D+ have been making the better reads.
Yeah. And one thing that T1 does have that we haven't really spoken about just yet is FaZe is playing Kalista. And honestly, oftentimes, that is just enough. It doesn't really matter. It can be Kalista and 4 other champions of any ilk you would like. As long as he's on this champ, he can make magic happen. Let's see whether he can as we get onto the Rift for Game 5. One of the times where you are a little bit sad that Faker never uses skins. Because I think base Anivia is probably one of the worst.
Well, it's
because there's so many great Anivia skins.
Sometimes, though, you got to remind people how long you've been playing the game.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes that old blocky Nintendo 64 Anivia is just, just what the world needs to see.
Wouldn't it be great if you could actually revert like character remakes as well? So like if you pick Tarek, you could actually choose the pizza feet if you wanted to.
I would love that. I'm a big fan of that concept.
Yeah, I know. You are a little bit of an old school gamer.
Yes.
You know, as we know. He's
finally
a nostalgia addict, you could say.
Finally beat Dark Souls 3 last night.
Nice work.
It's hard with the
How many years too late is that?
I think probably like at least 9.
Not bad. You know, could have been over the 2 digits. I think you've nailed it. That's beautifully done. As Showmaker is going to jump in on top of Faker, he will take an entire explosive charge. Not feel too psyched about the whole situation here, but he's got a full wave to eat. And I think the Anivia should at least be able to keep up in farm.
Yeah, the Prio in mid is going to also allow Lucid to get very aggressive in the jungle, starting with the Raptor camp of Owner here right away. Owner is also on the bottom side of the map, playing through the bottom side Prio.
Yeah.
Helping to generate.
It feels like DK actually got the read this time around. It was Lucid that did this on the Aatrox into, I believe, a Sejuani, as Faker is taking a lot of damage, but Owner is going to come out of the enemy jungle. That's a flash from Showmaker. I'm not sure about that one, and now he's just really dead. Oh, he gets the egg. There you go.
Okay. I'm not sure if Faker should have allowed that.
But also, like, look at Showmaker's face. He's like, you saw nothing, guys.
Yeah,
because that flash was crazy.
All right, now on the other side of things, this is what I was going to say. With the pathing of Lucid, it also punishes the Kennen lane here if he can get over in time. But there's a ward, and because he wasn't actually able to clear fast enough to come over here before Owner obviously could come and look for a potential punish in this slower gank that would have to eventuate, he can't actually commit further. That's where I had my eyes before we saw the all-in there from Showmaker, which was well played, but now Faker has flash advantage and only is down an egg.
Yeah, there is also the fact that red actually didn't get taken. So it should be a 3-buff start here for Owner as well, which is fantastic, as we see this once again. Flash for us there to stun up Showmaker, but I don't know about the flash. You know, he did at least manage to get the egg, but he didn't get the flash. So Faker is still kind of fine.
Now, he's still Tristana into Anivia, and Anivia got a Dark Seal and a tier. So, you know, you could continue to try to push your advantage here. It's not the end of the world. It's not like, oh, Tristana died, so that's the end of that. But, yeah, not going to have as much power as he would have otherwise liked to. And in this bottom lane, we'll see how much Career can hit, because that's really the determining factor as to whether Smash and Career can actually fight back into this Kalista lane.
And they at least do have a lane that can be pretty powerful in the early stages. MF Nico is not bad at all. But Pays and Carrier, we know what they can do, and it's about the all-ins once level 6 hits. You know, it's like when you can find hostile takeover angles, when Carrier can play completely off-the-wall aggressive because he's got Fate's Call available. That's when things get really frightening.
And Pop Blossom into bullet time and stuff like that also, obviously, incredibly powerful if you can set up. I think a little bit trickier to pull off than, you know, looking for a handshake play that can otherwise be non-committal but feel very safe because of the Fate's Call. And for team fights and scrappy things like that we will see start to happen when this first dragon spawns and elsewise post 6, that's where the combos are really going to be actually real. As you know, you don't have to necessarily hit the enemy support who has Fate's Call, but maybe you hit Faker, maybe hit Owner, you know, and catch him off guard and end up securing objectives. Speaking of objectives, I don't think Lucid's getting much right now.
Yeah, Bramble Smash does push Owner away, plus 10 damage, by the way, everyone. As Owner he has Flash, might be able to force a Flash out of Lucid, but decides not to. He is just going to enter the enemy jungle, which is right now pretty empty.
All right, things slow down for a minute. Owner is going to check ward here. We'll see the control ward, and still will come over here to annoy Shiu and clear it.
Yep.
Thorn went for Ignite, so there's a lot of extra pressure there.
Owie. Showmaker taking so much damage.
So close to 6, but just not there.
And that could have actually been a kill with the Buster Shot. As Doran now, with control of this wave, he will have control. But as you can see, Shiu is actually doing just fine. Finally, level 6 is picked up for Showmaker. And we know that Buster Shot is going to be so important, especially later on. But even here in the lane, threatening Faker is going to be a big deal. And also for safety, as Needlework comes out, Doran trying to get out of here. Does have the flash available, but snip, snip, and the stun. So Shiu is going to have to get out of there. Thankfully, the turret didn't get too mad at him. As Doran, still with the Ignite in hand.
Shiu doesn't have teleport either, but is going to be able to stay in this lane. TP, speaking of, going out for Showmaker here as T1 try to take this dragon. And I think they should be able to get it here. There's just no real way to close the gap for D+. Showmaker's TP, obviously his 2 lane isn't going to get him there any faster. They didn't have bottom side prio, nor do they have those critical ults for the skirmishes we were just discussing to come over there and kind of try to cheat their way into a dragon contest. So that is going to be first dragon over to T1. Crazy we could have another Infernal Soul here with Chemtech as the second.
That would be crazy.
It's starting to get a little boring. Like, I usually am a big fan of Infernal, but...
maybe it's a Cloud this time. I feel like a T1 series almost always has a Cloud Soul in it, so I think we're kind of due. So next, it's not going to be any of the tech dragons.
No.
But yeah, it could be a whole lot of different things. At least it's not going to be Chemtech. So can guarantee that Orcs is paying attention. And it's Game 5, DK versus T1. He's probably going to be paying attention in a series like this. As Lucid stealing away some more Raptors. Feeling good about that one as Faker gives Showmaker the good old thumbs up.
Faker still has flash, but I mean, this is a Maokai with ult.
Yeah, there is the nature grasping, gets the flash out of Faker, and just keeps walking.
And they know that Owner is likely nearby, so he's not going to commit any further here. Takes a lot of damage.
Yeah, Lucid going to be able to get over this wall, and Faker going to stop him from having a good time. I believe did not have too much frost on the Maokai. And Lucid is able to get that smite very, very quickly. Keria, nice handshake onto Korea there, who does get the snare onto Pace. My God, that damage.
That damage was pretty unreal.
Yeah. Wow, okay.
And that's
a BF sword back, by the way.
That's a big one. Keria could have been Fate's call there. Now, Showmaker's just going to go in again.
Yeah.
Faker still has a little bit of mana. This is somewhat risky.
So, Buster Shot is available here. Showmaker decides not to use it. Egg available there for Faker, so he can play a little bit more aggressively. As meanwhile, here towards the bottom side, they desperately want to get that plate. They're unable to do so. That is just prepared for them for next time.
Yeah. We've had so many near successes here for D+ in this game, have not eventuated in anything big or real just yet. It's T1 picking up these small leads. It's the MF lead in CS, though, that is really the one that you're holding on to, and it's going to even have a little bit of extra plate money on top of it here with this extra hit on the mid or on the bottom turret.
Yep.
And in the top lane, you know, this Gwen is doing really well so far into this cannon pick here for Doran. So that's a big boon here for D+, because if your Gwen falls too far behind to be a threat in sides, it really hurts your game plan heading to mid game and beyond.
I feel like Xiu has really exceeded my expectations in this matchup. Obviously, it was a blind cannon. So Xiu feels confident in this matchup regardless, but I didn't know that this early on it would be going this well. So that's fantastic. Does have his Boots of Lucidity already completed. Wanted to make sure that he has as much movement speed up here, but also getting as much ability haste as he can find.
He also loves his jungler Lucid, so...
True. And he also likes having flash available, which I imagine is something that you would like. All right, Showmaker is once again going to have to deal with that Glacial Storm as Xiu doesn't quite find the needlework this time.
Kind of a scary moment there for Doran if he wants to try to go back in with the Maokai so close by. T1 going to try to look for something here on the bottom side, I suppose, but Faker just going to leave, and I think that'll probably be the end of the aggression. A lot of pings going down here. Yeah, they are aware that Paze and Keria are otherwise missing here. There just isn't really anywhere for them to go, so handled it well, and now this Gwen has 3 grubs, so that's very good for D+. Also, the Tristana has 3 grubs, so side lane win cons I was talking about before, very strong here for D+, now significantly empowered.
Yeah, and actually, are these the first grubs that D+ have been able to take so far this series? Sort of feels like to me. Is now Doran may be in trouble. The nature is grasping as Xiu gets stunned up. Does he have the snips? The answer is yes. Lucid going to be the one to lock down that kill, as now we are one apiece between these two teams in Game 5. And DK getting the money where they want it. Although I guess Lucid getting the kill is not great, but Xiu getting any sort of advantage is exactly what D+ want.
Yeah. Who would have thought that this Maokai pick would come out again was what B&K used to great effect against T1 last time. It's Lucid playing it now with Chronicler watching on as an ex-LCK commentator who was very critical of Lucid's Maokai throughout the early days of his career, but making a huge impact here already in this game. As we're 1-on-1 apiece, T1 with a small gold lead, but I can't help but feel like the grub value here is going to be out of control as long as D+ get a chance to utilize it, especially when you have moments like this where Doran's pushed off the map. He drops his ultimate here. Xiu has to flash because he's in turret range. Doran plays this actually really well. He does not quite have enough damage even with the Ignite.
Yeah, didn't quite get that. But still, that is a fair bit invested. We'll see whether there is sort of a turnaround gank or something like that. But right now you can see this Dragon is getting started up. And it looks like D+ are not going to contest it. Lucid up here towards the top side of the map. And so Chemtech Dragon going to be picked up here by T1. And
the argument...
Give me the cloud. Give me the cloud. Mountain. Okay.
Mountain, okay. The argument for not going for the contest here for D+ is just that they think they're going to have a little bit more scaling range damage here with this Tristana later on. They don't want to fight into this Kalista early, especially without setup there on the bottom side of the map. So they instead just index through top side.
Well, needlework comes out yet again. It just kills him! Soul of Olo for Xiu! And the entirety of this side of Lolpark, we're on the D+ side, just erupted in the Xiu chant. That was very cool.
Very cool indeed. And That's 2 deaths for Doran on this Kennen. The last time he played Kennen, he had a great game on it. This is not looking the same type of scenario here, as he has this as counter pick to the Gwen, fell behind and now gets solo killed. And with 3 Grubs working on this turret, it's an extra plate going over to Shiu as well. And he finds himself 1,000 gold ahead. As we'll watch this again, goes in on the Kennen, even though he's stunned, gets the fully stacked Q, drops the ult out, hits it twice, and 3rd time's the charm.
That was beautifully played. And looking very cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah, not getting too excited about it, knowing there's a lot of League of Legends left to play here in this game, but
oh yeah,
that's the kind of mindset you want to have.
Showmaker going to get comboed here by Faker. Finds the stun there as well. And that is a lot of damage out of this Anivia. And Faker still without an item built up just yet. Same can be said for Showmaker at the moment, but he's just wanting to clear out waves and draw beads and things like that.
Indeed.
As that draw a bead is the name of Tristana's passive. Yeah. I feel like I haven't actually explained that in a very long time.
I don't know, I was kind of thinking about
confused.
abacuses for some reason when you said that. I was like, yeah, he's going to get a lot of money. He's going to calculate, like, I have 3 Grubs, so how much turret gold can I get later?
Yes, in the lore, Tristana is actually an accountant.
Yes.
And so, yes, very much about those beads.
A bit of a roam up from Keria to the top lane, really trying to patch this hole that is the Kennen on his squad, which means that the Kalista is isolated alone as well for a little bit. Faker's going to push this wave in, and he has TP and he can go into side, so it's not going to be like Keria's wasting too much time here, but a bit of an opportunity if Shiu does try to go for a 3rd here onto Doran.
Well, right now, Shiu is playing very respectfully. And so Keria not exactly with a lot of opportunity.
This could work out, though. I think Shiu's like, all right, I waited long enough.
Oh, in he goes. There's the Slicing Maelstrom. The Needlework comes out yet again. Fate's Call not doing a whole lot as he's looking to try and wipe out Doran, but he's not able to do so. That is the punish, and T1 are looking to continue pushing.
Yeah, and Faker just goes straight to the bottom lane here. Now, Smash is going to get some extra gold in mid. There's a bit of a hole there.
Triple Grubs.
Yeah, it's pretty big damage, and it's going to be a Kennen TP to answer as Doran finishes his role quest here. And Pays should be able to get out no problem.
Okay.
And I guess it's just going to be a trade of plates here. We're now even on kills.
And T1 with a little bit of a gold advantage.
That was a really cool play from T1. They played it very patiently. They knew the Faker was going to be able to head to the bottom lane. They weren't going to lose too much for this with Doran being able to TP to catch mid. As yes, some money does go over to the MF, but I think this is a great way to turn things around in the top side and keep Doran relevant.
And in this game, T1 leaning on Faker. And I think if anyone's to have a lead in a game 5 for T1, Faker is a pretty good option if you're a T1 fan.
Yeah,
he's been
40
pretty reliable.
CS advantage as well in his wheelhouse, or this is not quite the wheelhouse situation.
What is a wheelhouse again?
In his Mao house?
Yeah, that's right. It was Mao's house with wheels, but his name is Mao House, isn't it? I got it a little bit confused about the whole wheelhouse thing. That's a Valdez and well, the Tridans can actually let us know exactly what's going on. Maybe I'll ask in the Pog State or something like that. Tune in to the next episode of the Pog State if you want to know about the wheelhouse conversation once more.
Career is maybe thinking he can make a similar play to what Keria just did, but there's a lot of deep vision. He cannot quite actually sneak his way over here to try to set a trap. We'll be seen.
Well, Rift Herald is just taken, so that is another tool that D+ can use. I'm just not sure. Like, there is the whole scaling conversation that we need to have. There's not a massive amount of range on T1 at the end of the game. Like, Tristana is going to be hitting from really far away. Side lane's going to be really hard to deal with this Gwen. And Maokai is always incredibly high value with that Nature's Grasp. But like the Pays scenario, this time around T1 has got a lot of CC and sort of control, like zone control with the Anivia, and the Kennen.
Anivia lead doesn't mean that much when you're like, well, I've got a 1 stack on my Rod of Ages, and I have my upgraded boots and a Dark Seal and a fully stacked tier.
Yeah.
Whereas the Tristana's like, well, I still have a Kraken Slayer. I kind of actually can do a lot of damage in skirmishes and team fights, and I still kill turrets very quickly. So the lead doesn't matter that much right now, but if Faker gets a lot of extra time, like he just got that full topside turret, then he's going to be a huge damage threat later on. So D+ need to make something happen before that in this game, as we are going to have a bit of a scrap here. TP from Faker. This is going to be sole point for T1 if they can secure this, and they will now have that zoning Anivia here
I do think the D+ definitely need to fight for this one.
Absolutely.
They do have Lucid in position. He throws down the Rift Herald. Let's see whether he throws down the ulti here as well. Let's see how this one goes. There it is. Pop Blossom is going to be pushed away with the handshake, but Lucid gets in, steals away the dragon, and now Owner is trying to get himself out. Xiu running amok right in the middle of the fight, and the twisted advance, the bullet time, the combo from D+ is too good, and Xiu gets those scissors out and makes them work. The bottom lane is cut into pieces. It's a triple for the Gwen, and another one for Smash as well. 2 on the floor for D+ as well, but they get the steal, and they win the fight.
They win the fight in a massive way. And this was a dragon stolen by Lucid, which, by the way, he has been pretty quick on the smite finger today. I mean, with sticks in it.
There's also a 10 buff on the Bramble Smash Wolf.
Yeah, but look at this range setup here, and they still get it.
I feel like this has happened way too much. Way too much over the last few days.
They over-index way too hard into this top side of the fight, right into the bullet time. And Faker is just not able to do really enough damage at this stage in the game, and the Callista is down, the Dragon goes over, and a huge swing of momentum to D+ that would take a gold lead in this game. And a Gwen with the Mountain Break stacking up feels pretty good.
And she's also now got a Dusk and Dawn, so it's a pretty scary Gwen. This stage 2-item spike feeling pretty good in this current season of League of Legends. And so Faker still with a big gold lead. The problem is, the rest of D+ are looking very, very scary. And namely, that is Smash with 1,000 gold lead. His Collector is now done as well. And so these bullet times will really be hurting. But this Xiu, like, I just don't know what they're supposed to do about this Gwen in the side lane.
Well, that's the thing, because there's also a Tristana in the side lane.
Oh, yes. 1-3-1.
She's 1,600 gold behind Faker. But that doesn't necessarily matter if there's jungle attention. By the way, jungle attention to the top lane.
And Owner is spotted out as he makes his way up here. So the little kitty cat going to be a good sentinel here.
Career also does have his ult at the ready. They need to be very careful about how they fight this, as CC is Aatrox's worst enemy when he's trying to come over here and shadow these lanes.
Man, like, I was just not expecting this level of discipline from D+ this late in this series.
They want it so bad.
Yeah,
you know?
and they're not afraid to show that they want it this bad, you know? Because sometimes D+ sort of comes off as the cool kids at school that kind of think it looks cringe to try, you know? That's the vibe that it gives you, but not today. Not today at all. This is raw D+ showing that they want it. And we'll see whether they can actually get there. See whether they can save you a very large coffee bill.
Yeah, well, this is Career as well, who's the rookie, right? The one who was actually in tears after the win that brought them to their first of what could be potentially 3 for the reverse sweep. As Xiu is going to get ulted here.
Yeah, Faker is going to find the chain CC as well, and I don't think the Gwen is immune enough. Does have the needlework, but it's not enough. So Faker going to be grabbing his first kill of the game to augment his 50 CS lead.
However, there is Tristana up here. Okay, I thought we were going to see a heavier commitment from Career and that maybe they were going to try to trade for a turret. It's not going to be any real cross map here for D+.
This bird is becoming problematic.
Yeah, they're going to try to clip its wings, but Faker says, nah, I'm just going to TP. I know the Maokai is coming.
Oh, and also just gets to steal all of Doran's farm? Although he didn't. I think Doran actually got it all with.
But now they're in a spot to maybe even get something done on the Showmaker here. Playing both sides of the map with this one a little bit.
Ooh, Baron is just getting started at 20 minutes into the game.
They push them away, and now we have to find some setup here. It has to be Career, really.
I mean, this time around, they have a fair bit of Baron damage, but they also have a ridiculous Baron turn as they look for Xiu, who teleported towards the top side, and there is the Buster Shot now on cooldown. That means that Doran's value is a little bit higher. As 2 seconds, Slicing Maelstrom will be back up off cooldown once again.
I think that was the right call from Showmaker, though. If they end up losing Xiu there, it's a disaster. Smash gets some extra free time with his turret. Career, though!
Oh, dear. Flash Frost not going to quite connect, though. Shape Splitter is enough to get Career out of there.
All right, he's getting more work done on this turret now as well. He might get the whole thing.
Yeah, hold up.
And this is, I mean, 3 grubs at work, continuing to be a problem here for T1. He's not going to get the whole thing on this wave, but does a lot of damage. And it's really just a Buster Shot to stop this Baron and to stop any sort of follow-up there. D+ read the play well. And I think T1 were wise to drop Baron with the Maokai coming over. It was just too risky. There's too many circles. There's too many people stuck in a Baron pit. And this is exactly where D+'s composition is going to shine in a scrappy situation like that. I like T1 trying to see if D+ mess up the rotation. It is really at very little cost to them. Ultimately, Smash gets money, and he's 1,500 gold ahead of pace.
Yeah, this is a big lead for the Misfortune, as now T1 thinking about setting up for Soul Point once again. Last time around it didn't quite work, but they are in position. Doran with teleport that he did manage to get from his quest. It's up and available. Shiu's in the back of this pit now. Teleport comes in. Showmaker is turning up as well as Lucid.
It's a lot of sticks.
Try and keep this Gwen safe, as like you were saying, that is a lot of Ren stacks into this Dragon. Let's see. Lucid now throws out the ulti. Can Ona get it? No, it's another steal! What the heck, Lucid? As once again, Shiu is now immune in the back of the pit. Not anymore, though, as he needs to slink back into the mist. Flashes over the wall. Highway robbery complete, and they get out.
How many times is Lucid gonna get away with this? It's insane. His smite game today. And it's again into the Ren.
Yeah, Ren, and like, isn't it same level smite at least?
Yes.
Like, he's what?
I don't.
So I think we were calculating this like a couple of days ago, and it was because there was actually a difference in smite upgrades and blah, blah, blah that was at play here. This was not. This was like T1 had a massive secure advantage, and Lucid said, no, I have Bramble Smash. It's fine.
And it was fine, actually.
Yeah. It's the pajamas. The pajamas really allows you to understand smite timings better. I think that must be what it is.
T1 are also not in a position here because D+ used very little. They only really used the Maokai ultimate there to secure this.
Yeah. Lucid just saying, slow down, slow down. Yeah, he's like, I'm going to smite at 3K. And he did, or something.
And we get out. Okay.
He's going to ult at 3K, but then he just nailed the smite immediately afterwards. That was what G-Sun just let us know, and I apologize for mishearing the first time around.
So the Baron angle here for T1 is kind of awkward when they're on red side, right? Like, this is the power of blue side here for D+, where they actually can play around this Baron a lot more comfortably, and they have the Maokai. So even when T1 get the better group and they have vision, they're like, I don't really like this angle. But if they send somebody over and try to hard commit and then they get pushed off the Baron, anyone who's left in the side lane who has TP, which right now the Soul Laners don't for D+, but when they do have that TP back up, Shiu can stay inside with his 3 grubs and get some real damage done and then still show up for the fight if T1 decide to kind of call his bluff and say, all right, well, we're going to stick the Baron. So this is the side lane power really starting to come into work. The later we get into the game, the more deadly it becomes.
Yeah.
Like, Showmaker right now is still 1,700 gold behind, still doesn't have his second item, but the Gwen is already a problem.
And also, Showmaker basically needs to hit Buster Shot on Doran, and everything's going to be okay. That's basically his whole job. He can negate an entire cannon. So even if he is still going to remain behind, not without any items, he will keep value, which is very similar to what happened in the last game as well, the 0-5 Cassiopeia. But Miasma is one heck of an ability against a whole bunch of melee dashy champions.
And with the Anivia pushing into the Gwen has really strong wave clear and just doesn't really care that much. And you can see that Showmaker's having some free time to farm into the cannon here top side. And if T1 make a rotation one way or the other, they can end up losing out on side. Showmaker doesn't have his TP back just yet, and we're still 2 minutes away from that Dragon. So the game is going to slow down here for a moment. And we'll see some, roaming supports trying to find angles here. Keria tries to come over and see if Showmaker's going to get a little greedy. He doesn't. Career also fighting for this vision. And this is the most interesting thing that's going to happen here for a little while, is just a little vision check on Baron as Smash continues to destroy these waves, frankly.
Yeah.
He has his Bloodthirster. He's on 3 items. He has that extra shield, so it's very difficult to collapse on and punish him.
And Wolf, let's think about what the world is going to look like when there are Mountain Souls up and available.
Yeah, it's pretty...
on the table in the next minute and a half is Soul Point.
I mean, there's a Seraph's here for Faker. He's going to end up, being a pretty tanky bird.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, he has his egg, of course, if he ends up going down or ends up being under threat. So that, is pretty strong for him. Obviously, the cannon can get a little bit of extra work done, but it's Gwen and the MF that I'm, really concerned about. The extra shield for the MF, and sometimes just mean a little bit of extra damage. That could be all the difference in the world. The Gwen, same story. More difficult to kill because she is just, in general, so powerful in sides and requires so many people that if she has those extra resistances, which she already has 2 dragons worth of, then you get rotational power as well as D+. So very powerful dragon for either side. Not as strong as Infernal Soul, but you know what? I was ready for a change in this series anyways.
Yeah, me too. I actually think that Mountain Soul is really, really interesting, especially with the fact that Lucid, like the one true tank here in this game, benefits a lot because he's going to be building those resistances. But every time you build an arm guard, it just feels doubly as good, right?
He has an arm guard. Shiu has the arm guard. So I mean, it's a good point that you raise.
Arm guard on Lucid is kind of crazy.
It's extra safety. And you know what? Maybe it gets him into smite range somehow.
True, there you go.
Pretty well. He's also got a Leandries here, so saplings are very annoying.
Shiu is just ignoring damage at this point in time, electing not to press his Misty button.
The agency that Lucid has versus what Owner has feels so much higher. He can warp the fight so much more than this Aatrox can.
Yeah, and it's also so easy for DK to get information as well. They've got Shape Splitter, they've got saplings. You can always scout out the area even if you don't have wards.
Found Doran.
Speaking of which, yeah, Doran is just going to blow up. He flashes in, but the Buster Shot! They're playing tennis with a cannon! What is this? Why isn't Wadid working today?
And
oh
that's
my
Dragon.
goodness, and now the Drake is going to be taken. That is triple Mountain Soul point for DK.
And T1 just couldn't make a choice. They were like, all right, we either have to save Doran and try to play through that bottom side scrap, or we got to hold Dragon. They did neither. Lucid didn't even have to ult. So he still has his ult here to now try to secure Baron, and T1 are a million miles away.
Oh my goodness, a DK doing it?
There's
Are they going to reverse T1 at reverse sweep T1 out of the LCK Cup? Surely not. And not on the Baron, as Owner is going to rotate over. Like we were saying, that informational advantage is still there for DK though.
There's that Lucid ult.
As Owner, let's see whether he can get it done as the Baron is smote away by Lucid, of course. Twisted advance to take down the Aatrox, and Smash is going to get flashed on by Faker. He will go down, but Carrier is going to explode as well. There are the resets for Showmaker, and he looks for another explosive charge. Man, he's drawn so many beads this game, and you can see that range is just kind of absurd. Rocket Jump going to come in, and he gets another charge, and down he goes to the egg. Korea gets the information, and they will be able to take him down. So Baron for DK, and they'll get the prize in all of these kills, and a 5,000 gold advantage.
And this is a Callista comp for T1. Getting back into this game is going to be nigh impossible, as Doran is also way up.
Oh dear. Showmaker doesn't have Buster Shot, so no tennis. As Lucid is like, come on man, are you hitting it back? And Showmaker's like, no, I'm tired. I can't do that. I'll just kill it instead. And it is going to be the tree that's given kill credit this time around.
It's a trade, but it's a support for a top laner. As Doran getting caught here on the flank is just exactly what you were talking about. And it's tennis time.
Yeah, the Kennis. I really like it. That's from chat. That's from chat. That's not mine. That's not mine, but it's fantastic.
And then here, Owner gets into the pit, flashes early to make sure he doesn't get rooted out, but look at the smite, 65.
65.
Miss today, Atlas.
I mean, the problem is that Owner does miss today.
Yeah, no, it's been quite a consistent problem. And this is like, if you go back to some of these smites that Lucid has gotten over Owner, this could have been a 3-0. Like, we might not even have gone to game 4. We might be ever talking about this game and Fakers and Nivea, and the Kennis might not have ever even been conceptualized. Okay.
Oh, we did be very sad about that. He's a big tennis fan.
And now we're looking at a 6,000 gold lead for D+, a Callista that's trying to play into Maokai, and a Tristana that has so much range.
Yeah, he's level 17.
He's got the sniper item. He's ready to hit them hard.
Feels like a pretty fantastic third item as well, because once you buy it, your passive is stacked up so far that you get the full value. It feels very, very nice. As Lucid able to get into the tiny little window to break those chains. But the bullet time is just thrown out. Faker is just dead. Pop Blossom under 2. Korea! You absolute madman! He's over the wall! And now it is Korea falling, but it's totally worth it this time around as Doran, he comes in to try and save the play. The Slicing Maelstrom is pretty powerful. Everyone's golden, but DK are the most gold today as Carrier walking back to the fountain, asking them to be gentle, and they're going to say absolutely not. Not today, because we are top 3 in the LCK Cup as DK book a ticket to Hong Kong.
And Career can barely believe it.
My God, this young man, look at CV Max glowing with Pride.
Back-to-back against Rise Group teams.
I don't think they're Rise Group teams anymore.
No.
I honestly feel
We're
like
seeing a change of the tides.
Yeah, and the way the LCK has leveled up over the last 6 to 8 months has been kind of absurd. I think the roster changes in this year's Stove League as well have really made things interesting. And look at this, like Korea absolutely losing his mind. And I don't think, like, even if you're a T1 fan, you cannot help but be proud of this D+, because I know I personally doubted them completely. After that 0-2 down, it was just sad. And then, you know what? They actually turned it around, figured it out, and she did mega damage in this game.
He's probably going to pick up POM. I don't know. I think these guys deserve it. They worked really hard. They played their hearts out tonight.
I want to give Korea the POM. I don't care. I just want to give it to him. He didn't play the best. However, this was a story of him holding it together in probably one of the most high-pressure scenarios ever in his career. So Lucid's going to pick up POM though, and I actually have a feeling that, you know, this is the smarter choice. The guy played ludicrously well.
I voted for him. I thought his smites were what saved this series, but also his
Ambessa
incredible.
His Ambessa game changed the entire course of this series.
Changed the entire course of history, Atlas. As one